Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page here at Facebook. Here's George. Yeah, that's George. He's 5 months old, and he's a handful. So George is with us today, huh? Okay. All right, George. Good boy. All right. So welcome to the live stream, the daily live stream that I do here. It's based on the card draw that I do every morning. And it's a well, actually, we usually get 2 to 3 cards, but it's really for everyone. It's not an individual card draw. So the information that you hear is, really unique to yourself and your own situation, what's going on in your life, right? So it's like this little boy has got energy. And we just came in from outside. We just spent 30 minutes out there, and he's still raring to go. I was kind of hoping he'd fall asleep. Yeah. Yeah, I know, George. Lay down. Be a good boy. Okay. Okay. All right. So since George is so rambunctious, I may have to take like a little bit of a break. I'm not going to end the live stream. I may have to run him out to the car so he can settle down and take a nap, right? We'll see how it goes. So welcome, everybody. I am broadcasting from Star Nation's Academy, which is about a block from my home. And we live in Tomah, Wisconsin. It's about an hour east of the Mississippi. And so we're in the northwestern part of Wisconsin. Some people wanted to know, where are you broadcasting from? So that's it. That's where we're broadcasting from. We do teach classes from here. And so it goes from live streaming studio to classroom, actually quite easily. And so here we go. Julie Shumway Hill's in the house. Hello, Julie. So glad you're here. Yeah, and then also we have, that's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. She's letting you know about the recent article that I wrote. And Rochelle is here. Hi, Rochelle. Good to have you here. Thank you for sharing. It's actually really quite cold. When I got up this morning at about 6, it was 4 degrees above zero. And that was without the wind chill factor. It's cold. It's cold. But, up here at the Academy, we have radiant heat. It's in the floor, and so it's nice and cozy in here. It's not cold in here at all. And sometimes when you have concrete floor, how the concrete gets cold and you just can't seem to get warmed up. Well, with the radiant heat, we don't have that problem, and I love it. I love it. So for those who are just joining, there's something that we do at very early into the broadcast, and that is I take my phone out and I share out the live stream. And if you would join me, I would appreciate it, just like Rochelle did. She already shared, and I am going to do that right now. I'm going to share it out to my personal newsfeed, I think. It keeps spinning. All right, here we go. To my newsfeed. And just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming and asking them to join. And to please join. There we go. Excellent. Then that one's done. And I believe it's already out at the closed group for the radio network. So maybe what I'll do is I'll share it out to the Academy, which is one of our other closed groups. And just to let our community know that I'm live streaming. Yeah. Doesn't take very long. And as long as I spell correctly, which is sometimes a problem with the little keys and bifocals. There we go. Whoops, need a space between there. And we'll share it over to the Academy. There we go. There. And that's done. Done and done, as they say, right? There we go. And we'll keep track of, yesterday we had a little hiccup with the comments in the studio, and I had to use my phone to get the, I just love my boy. I do. I just love my boy. Yeah. Yep. It's one of the best decisions we made to bring George home. He had 8 other brothers. Yeah. But he was one of the youngest ones born. Okay, George, enough. Enough. Good boy. Enough. All right. So, what we have going today for the card draw, we've had these cards before, but not in this particular combination. And it's really interesting. Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to have to take him out to the car. George, that's enough. Okay? That's enough now. Need him to calm down. Calming energy. Where's my lavender essential oil when I need it, right? Yeah. Okay. So Rochelle is saying, I need the sun and warmth now. Wouldn't that be nice? I know, Stephanie, isn't he? He's getting really big. He was at puppy daycare yesterday, and every day that he's there, they weigh him, and he's there maybe once a week, sometimes twice, and he weighed in at 45 pounds. Yeah. We got him when we got him. He was 11 pounds, and he's doing exactly what puppies are supposed to do right now, and that's grow. he's doing a really good job of it. That's for sure. And he makes me laugh every day. Yes, he does. He does get peanut butter in his Kong, and actually, what we're doing is we're going to move into having him in his kennel more often, so that when I go to the store, he doesn't necessarily go with me. And so the Kong and the peanut butter are meant primarily when he's in his kennel. Yeah, he loves peanut butter. Oh my God. And when I came up here, I was kind of in a hurry, and I left his main treat at the house. Shh, he doesn't know that. Do you, George? I have a feeling I'll pay for that one. See? I'll pay for that one, right? Yeah. Let's see. What is this, Rochelle? The RN just took my bandage off, and my arm didn't fall off. Well, that's good. That means the surgery was done well, huh? So they took the bandage off. Well, that's good. That means that you're really moving along with your healing. That's good news. Good news. Yeah. And getting that pain managed, I hope. It's always a good thing, right? All right. So the first card that we have today is the White Witch. And we've had this card a couple of times, not as often as some others, but a couple of times. The White Witch. And it says, be the light. Be the light. Notice it doesn't say try to be the light. It says be the light. Yeah. And one of the things that I notice is that, in the language that we use is really important, because it makes us consciously aware of the energy that's coming through us and out our mouth, right? Don Miguel Ruiz, he says the word is sacred. And I agree. I think it is too, because our breath is behind it. And because the Creator gave us the breath, that means that what we say matters. The words we use matters. And so when we're looking at soul growth and our experiences, and when we're trying, I put that in air quotes, trying to do something, that means that we're forever reaching, and it keeps getting a little bit further and a little bit further away, because we keep trying. And what I noticed when I changed my words, going from trying to being, that I am peaceful rather than I'm trying to be peaceful, or I'm trying to have peace in my life. I say now, I have peace in my life. And so notice the difference in that. And it really does make a difference, a big difference. Well, good for you, Rochelle. The pain is under control. Yay. That's, I know that's really, really important in your healing process, in your physical body, right? So good for you. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. So the White Witch, notice, I'm going to see this way, the pentagram in the background there, right? And then you have a barred owl, I think. That's what it looks like to me. It's not a great horned owl, although it does have horns. And it looks like twigs or branches from a tree, doesn't it? Yeah. And she's got a butterfly in her hair, metamorphosis, change, transmutation. Yeah. And it looks like she has grapevines and grapes, doesn't it? And abundance. Abundance. And grapes are used for so much. They're very versatile, aren't they? I mean, from the juice to just eating the grapes, the fruit. You can eat the leaves, grape leaves. Those are really good. A little Mediterranean food for you. Yeah, it's good stuff. And be the light. Be the light. In other words, we already have the light. It's already here. It's already inside of us. And what we just have to do is turn our attention to it, right? Remember that we are the light, and turn our attention to it. And that's how we be the light. We really don't have to buy anything. We don't really have to do much of anything. The only thing that we do have to do, and sometimes I sound like a broken record, I know, is we have to do our personal healing, right? To heal those traumas, emotional and mental traumas. Because that, to me, that's like the debris. That's what covers it up, right? And the last time we had this card, I think I can't remember who it was in the chat, but they were saying it reminded them of the children's song, the hymn. What is that? I'm going to let my light shine. No, that's not right. Oh, sure. Somebody in the chat I know knows this. Rochelle, I know you know this, and so does Stephanie. It's I'm going to let my light shine. In other words, don't cover it up, right? There's a song about that. Help! I'm trying to remember the lyrics to it. We're having a menopausal moment here. Georgie, that's enough now. We're going to stay in. Okay? Yeah, we're working right now. Yeah, that's what we call it when we come up here. We're going to work. Oh, shoot. I'm sure it'll come to me eventually. It'll come to me eventually. Let's see what the author of the cards, Kyle Gray, what he has to say about the White Witch. Okay, this little light of mine. Thank you, Rochelle. I knew you knew it. Yeah, thank you for that. The message is, take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from lower energy experiences. Yeah, because we do have a choice, right? We have a choice. Thank you, Stephanie. She said, okay, this is Rochelle. She says, I'm going to let it shine. Yep, that's it. And then Stephanie has it listed so that if we wanted to go see it, we could do that. Thank you, Julie. See, everybody knows this. It's like the little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Yes. Hey, Mary Anderson Fry's with us. Yes. And, we learned that song as a child, didn't we, in Bible school? I did anyway. And it's a song that stays with us into our adulthood. Why? Because it probably made us feel really good when we were a kid, right? When we were singing it, we were happy when we sang it. Hey, Maggie, welcome to the live stream. So glad you're here. And so that little light of ours that's shining, it's something that we already have inside of us. The Creator, it's the spark from the Creator. Can't do anything to lose it. Right? It's always there. Even after we leave our physical body, it's still there. It's called our spirit and our soul, right? So what we have to do is kind of polish it up a bit. We still have to do our own healing work so that we can remove the debris from it, and so that it really can shine as bright as possible, right? As bright as you can. Yeah, and I'm just kind of remembering as a kid singing that song and how happy it made us feel, right? And so as an adult, we can at least turn to that memory. And chances are we got a bunch of people having the lyrics going through their mind, or maybe even a few people singing it out loud. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so Kyle goes on to say that the White Witch card represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess of paganism and modern Wicca. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here she is joined by a horned owl, showing that she's willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but she's also willing to trust what she feels is right within. So with this card, we're being reminded of the goodness within. The goodness within. We already have it. You know? Yeah, we don't have to work to get it. It's already there. It's already there. That's kind of comforting, isn't it? Yeah, it's comforting. And it's almost like, whew, don't have to work on that one. We already have it. We already got it. We already got it. So, sorry, Mary. She says, now that song will be in my head all day. I know. Just sing it out loud, you know? The song that's been in my head for a day and a half is Jingle Bells. Yeah. Of course, 'tis the season, right? George. Oh God, there was probably a squirrel out there. That's what the barking's all about. All right, so it says, no matter what is happening to you or around you, you have a choice. We have a choice on whether or not we're going to stay in that lower vibrational experience, or if we're going to leave, walk away from it, or if we're going to shift it. And how do you shift it, right? It depends on what the situation is. Sometimes, it's a changing of the subject. It's like, you know what? Let's change the subject. Or depending on who you're with, just change the subject because they know you well enough that, it's like, oh, okay, we're not going to talk about that anymore. And so, it depends on what the situation is. There's times walking away is prudent. And with that one, my personal experience is that sometimes we use that to avoid the confrontation, to avoid a really difficult conversation that should be had. And so we're hiding, right? And only we can tell that. There's times when I think that walking away is a really good thing because it's the last effort, right? It's like, okay, I'm done here. and you leave the situation. But I think that we have to discern for ourselves if that situation is a part of our soul growth. And sometimes it's making that telephone call and say, I think we really need to talk. Or sending the message, do you have some time to talk about this? And literally making an appointment with them. Doesn't mean that it's going to solve the situation in its entirety, but we can only clean up our own side of the street, right? And so if you're discerning for yourself that this is your soul growth, this is something that you have to do for that to learn a life lesson, rather than hiding from it or escaping the situation, is calling to your team and asking for courage and bravery, and help me to understand this with clarity. What is this really about? And then moving forward to resolve it. Yeah. But at any rate, whenever it's a negative situation, we always have a choice to leave. Always. Yeah. Maggie is saying hide, however, is not always bad. That's true. That's really true. I think that's why I said that, just you have to discern it for yourself, because it's not a blanket statement where it's going to cover everybody, right? That's not possible. But we have to, maybe it is about discerning though, discerning for yourself. What is this situation really about? Is it about my soul growth and what life lesson are we working on? and being open to doing what you need to do to complete the life lesson. And like, I think where we've been talking about this quite a bit is that they're so much easier when they're little. They're actually enjoyable when they're little. It's when they get really big that you end up with the cosmic 2x4, right? And so, yeah, sometimes I think it is prudent to walk away, but only you can decide that. Only you can decide that. Yeah. See, Rochelle. Rochelle's asking, how's my mom? Um, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. We're dealing with a lot of physical pain. That's why I was happy to hear that yours was under control. With mom, we're at a good spot for the time of year, and her skin is so sensitive now, that we can only use, even if it's essential oils, we can only use it for, probably at the max 2 weeks. And then we have to shift to something else for a little while and then shift to something else for a little while. And so, yeah, I think that she's holding her own, that's for sure. But she's 99, so she's getting a little bit slower. She's taking a few more naps than she used to. But all in all, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good for the situation. Yeah. Thanks for asking, Rochelle. Hey, Violet. Hello, Violet. And Maggie saying something is a sign you need more time before approaching. Sometimes it is, and I think that it's important to connect with your spiritual team, so you have help, right? You've got assistance, and sometimes it's there is that old saying, sleep on it. Don't make the decision, so quickly. Sometimes it's good to sleep on it. Sometimes it's good to have a little space so that you can converse with your team. Maybe what you need to do is align some resources, but to give you the time to discern it and to prepare for it. I think that's a good thing. The one thing that I know that for sure is about George. Okay, so there's space between the outside wall and the altar. Okay, and when he was little, he could go back there no problem. But he's so much bigger now, and he hasn't been back there in a while, and so I wasn't sure if he was going to fit. He fit. Thank goodness. Okay, yeah, and so I agree, Maggie. Sometimes you just need a little time. You do. Sleep on it. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's no rush. There's no rush. As long as you know that it's a life lesson and you have discerned that for yourself, and to be able to prepare for it. I think that's a good thing. I think that's also a sure sign of some maturity, both in the physical sense, but also in the spiritual sense. Some maturity, yeah. Because we get some experience under our belt, right? Sometimes we've been around that tree a few times, especially if it's the same person. Yeah, and there's another old saying: you have to know when to cut bait, right? Sometimes we want something to work out in a positive way so much that we really try really, 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 really hard, and it's almost like you're stalking the other person. Sometimes we have to know when to say when. And the thing is that when we do that healing work for ourselves and we make that discernment, one of the things I learned from last year is, how we cut cords, cord cutting. That's a good thing. But there's something that's a little bit more invasive, and that is emotional hooks. That when you're dealing with a situation with another two-legged, sometimes what happens, depending on the situation, is that you may have emotional hooks in you. And so, is sensing them, turning your attention inward and ask your team, Do I have emotional hooks from, and state the person? And if you get the yes reply, then how, you can ask for help, ask them to show you where they are in your auric field or even in your physical body. And you have to take the hooks out. Your team can take them out for you. My suggestion is to ask them to do it as gently and gracefully as possible. Okay, but you want the hooks out. So it could take some time to get them out, depending on how many and how deep. There's, I had a couple in that the barbs on like a fishing hook. When you go deep sea fishing, they have those really big hooks and they got those huge barbs on the side. Yeah. And so taking those out and then filling that space with the Creator's divine love, light, and truth. To fill that void and to heal it. And that goes, I think, a step beyond just cutting cords. Cutting cords is a good thing, but when you're dealing with a lot of emotional events, is sometimes we have to look for those hooks. And here's the other piece, is that to ask your team, because you probably already know this, but ask them anyway, is that have I ever sent an emotional hook to, and state the person's name? And if you have, then you have a responsibility to remove that hook, to take that hook out and send love in its replace, to replace it. Yeah. I think you'll be surprised when you follow that energy cord back, that you've sent it in, and where is it located, following it back to where you sent it. Yeah. And there again, that is spiritual maturity. And that's a good thing. Sometimes we do those emotional hooks subconsciously, even unconsciously. And sometimes it's not done intentionally, consciously. When it's done intentionally and consciously, then you know that there's some bad medicine going on, because that falls under that category. But there's also a lot to learn from it too. Yeah. So, and I don't want you to be too hard on yourself either, is to acknowledge it and ask for help to understand it. Because on the other side of that is a great gift, and that's called wisdom. Yeah. Let's see, what else is Maggie saying? She's saying chances are they have you. Okay. I'm going to try to understand this, Maggie. Chances are, if they have, you have as well. Okay. Yes. Chances are. Yes. Like I said, it depends on the situation and the person or people. And only you can really discern that really well for yourself. Even if you went to a healer or somebody who can look into the situation, it's good that they can help you understand it. But really, you're the only one that can really discern it and actually be be the one to remove those emotional hooks that you sent. Yeah. Don't worry, Maggie. She's saying computer wants to. That's okay. Especially if you're using your phone or a tablet and they do the auto spell check. Yeah, that happens. That happens. And so the White Witch, right? That's the card that we're talking about, because it was the first card that was drawn. And so Kyle, the author of the deck, says, you're an incredible person who can really bring light. And so how do you transmute? How do you change? How do you shift the situation, the negative situation, to be able to shine your light, right? To acknowledge your light. He goes on to say that you will know the answers. Know also that you are being encouraged to shine the light that you're born to share, to shine the light that you were born to share. So it's also a part of your gifts that you came in with. Because your light, your soul, gets to shine through your gifts. That's why it's imperative that we use our gifts, and it brings joy. It brings joy when we're able to apply our gifts, and our tools, our allies, are meant to enhance our gifts. And so if you can do that combination, and you have a unique combination of how you use your gifts, use your talents, and your formal and informal education, the whole package. It's very unique to each one of us. Yeah, because our signature vibration gets to shine through that. Yeah, I find it, it's exciting, I think, when we can do that more fully. So that's the White Witch. That's what she brings. The information for today, her essence. It's about shining our light. It's about when to make the choice to discern for yourself, when and if to leave a negative situation, and to discern for yourself how to best do that. Right? Yeah. Where'd he go? Oh my goodness. Okay. So here we go. Here's the second card. High Priest. High Priest. We've had this card before, early in when we started this deck in September. He's got the falcon there. High Priest. He's got the snake or the caduceus, right, sitting at his third eye. And the staff that he's holding looks like it's kind of like a turquoise color. Not sure exactly what that is, but. And in the background, I don't know if you can see that, but there's the star tetrahedron, the Merkaba. The Merkaba. That one is all about, your ascension work and having balance between male and female energies. And it's a protective field. And there's a lot to that Merkaba. Yeah, I teach classes about that. In fact, I'm going to be teaching some of those classes again in 2019. I haven't scheduled them yet, but I will, and we'll get that information out to you guys. All right, so the High Priest. And I think it's interesting that we have a male and a female. Georgie. Yeah, you're going to have to be okay, all right? We're almost... Shh, no. Why don't you lay down and take a nappy? Shh. Lay down and take a nappy. Okay? Be a good boy. All right. So the High Priest is intend and create. Intend and create. It says, recognize that you have the power to change your life. Face your fear and align with the light. Face your fear and align with the light. So we're talking about our inner light here, right? Rochelle. He talks like Scooby-Doo. I know. And he's a real talker too. And he always wants to get the last word in. Yeah. We're learning though. Yeah. And so both these cards are talking about our inner light. And this one is saying face your fear and align with the light. So I think that there's that the key there is what we were talking about is that discernment. When to leave a lower vibrational situation, a negative situation, right? And to be honest with ourselves as much as we can, that if it is a situation that is meant for our highest good and to learn a life lesson, is to have the courage to face it, to hang in there, and either to have the conversation, to change it, to transmute it somehow. But keep in mind, we're only responsible for our side of the street. We can't force the other person to do anything. Nothing. Not even to have a conversation. You can extend the invitation and do what you can to facilitate that conversation to occur. But that doesn't mean that, one, they'll do it. And if they do it, that doesn't mean that they will actually participate in the conversation. I've had that happen too. But I think it is about that, about our inner light. When we align with the light, we're aligning with our soul. And the soul is directly coming from the Creator, right? So aligning with Urchin Franklin, and also Connie Vaughter, Sheer Vaughter would say, the I am, to align with that. It's aligning with your inner light. All right. Kyle goes on to say that he acts as a bridge. The high priest acts as a bridge between worlds and is able not only to divine the future, but to help create it too. So you can see into the future, but you're also creating it. Yeah. That's interesting. Not only to divine the future, but to create it as well. And so we're talking about manifesting. And when we're aligned with the light, with our inner light, and when we're manifesting for our soul growth. Yeah. And and manifesting has changed a little bit with the law of attraction and understanding it and how that's evolved and matured, and the understanding of it. But we do know that the emotions are the fuel for those manifestations. So if you're experiencing your emotions and not suppressing them or repressing them, that your manifestations will come to you a lot sooner than if you state your intention, whatever it is that you're manifesting, but you don't have any feelings attached to it. Yeah, it's going to take quite a while, if ever, that it comes to you. Rochelle says, timing is perfect, but I wish I knew now what I have become aware of in the last 3 years. I have learned a lot since my late husband passed this coming January 8th, 4 years. Yeah, it's all about soul growth. It's all about soul growth. And sometimes when we get to those junctures, those crossroads that we were talking about yesterday, or was it the day before? Yeah. Feeling like there's more, there's got to be more, or something's missing kind of thing. I think that really tells us that we're not quite in alignment. And that when we make those, even if it's a baby step in one direction or another, that we can feel ourselves moving forward, that means that we're getting closer to alignment. And Rochelle, and when we take those baby steps and have the courage to go to a class or to read a book or to really actually to start applying what you know, that's huge. That's huge soul growth in the application. How many of us have taken a class? We enjoyed it and we probably learned something from it, and we get home and we take the information and we put it up on a shelf or in a drawer, and we very seldom do we ever go back to it. And so we never really apply it. But the conscious application of it is all about the soul growth. And And the thing is that what are we striving for, right? We're striving for mastery of our gifts, mastery of our gifts and mastery of our tools and that sort of thing, our allies, so that we don't have to redo some of this experience because we have gone through and learned the life lesson, and then gained the wisdom from it, right? So that means that we don't have to redo it or come back and finish it. That we can actually go on to whatever the next experience is for our soul. Yeah, maybe we should stay in the present moment though, huh? And finish this one up. This is the card that we're talking about if you just joined us. This is the second card. It's called the High Priest, and it's about intend and create. It says that he may be a leader in his spiritual tradition or a pagan traditions, be second to the high priestess, but he's always spiritually connected and disciplined with great respect for his creator and his particular practice. In a reading, this card can represent a spiritual figure, leader, or teacher in your life, or as an aspect of your path that has led you to where you are today, right? Where you are today. And I think that's what, Rochelle, you're referring to. That's what you're referring to. Mm-hmm. And Maggie's saying, problem, we all say we wish, but would things be changed for the worst if we did? What lessons would we miss? I don't know if we really miss it. Because I think that either path that you take, it's going to bring you to learning an aspect of your soul and your soul contract. And it may be packaged differently. But I think that that will end up in the same place. Maybe it might be a longer route. You might be taking more of the scenic route, those old country roads, rather than the superhighway. I think it depends on what kind of experience you decide to have. And I think we make that decision even though we may not be mentally aware of it. I think the soul, if you're allowing your soul to lead, it's going to be the right choice either way. And even if you're not consciously aware of it. I think that's why we're always talking about healing around our heart, because that's our emotions, and that's our GPS system, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if we really miss a lesson as much as maybe it's packaged differently. I don't know. What do you think about that? Because when I first started, and this was back in 1990. See, we moved in 96. So right around there, 96, 97, I was making decisions that was changing how I saw life, right? And it was looking for that something that was missing. I was a seeker. I still am in a lot of ways. And how I even found this path was through more of a business sense, that positive mental attitude stuff, Zig Ziglar and all of those, right? That was a long time ago, but it was a beginning, and it was a different kind of experience to where I am today. But I think that those lessons were still there. They were just packaged differently. And some of those lessons would have been a lot easier if I wasn't resisting. You think I would have known that before 2017, but I did again. I was resisting in 2017 and made it a whole heck of a lot harder on myself, um, rather than just staying in the flow. Yeah, but that was a good insight, Maggie. Asking, making that statement. Yeah, it helps us to see this from another perspective, right? Yeah. In the cards that we got yesterday and about the crossroads, it was saying it, whether you choose the left path or the right path, it's going to be a good path because number one, you chose it. And number two, each of them have a different experience, that we have. Um, we're still going to have soul growth and we're still going to experience. It's just different. It's just different. That was a good one, Maggie. Thank you for that. Says that you are a bridge between heaven and earth, and it's important for you to know that you are more powerful and connected than you may think. Everything you are giving attention and energy to at this time is creating your way forward. Everything that you are attending to and thinking is creating your way forward. There have been some setbacks, but accept these as experiences that have led you to a deeper understanding of yourself and your spirit. Know that you are being guided by the ancestors to direct your thoughts and energies towards what you want to grow, heal, and expand, and then watch it happen right before your eyes. And see, that's the part about being in the flow and not resisting, because that expansion, that growth, the healing, that it's happening literally right before your eyes. So I think these two cards is about our inner light and letting it shine, not covering it up, not hiding from it. Yeah, it's about our inner light. And when we have some self-discipline when it comes to our healing, because there's I've experienced clients and students who they say they want to have a change in their life. They say that they want to have, say, peace in their life, or they want to, um, have access more of their intuition. But when it comes to the actual work for it, in other words, the healing process to heal those aspects of themselves, that's when they put up the most resistance. Yeah, they dig their heels in. And then it becomes harder. Sometimes both mentally and emotionally painful. Yeah, and then I can only share from my own experience that, what that meant for me in my soul growth, and it's not fun when you're brought to your knees. It's not fun at all, but it also took me down a path that to heal those aspects of myself, so I could have more access to my intuition. And so, the self-discipline does play a part. It does. Um, and also the communication between you and your spiritual team. Very helpful. Very helpful. Let's see. Mary is saying it's very hard work emotionally and physically. Yes, it is. Yeah, it can be exhausting. Exhausting. That's why when we're in the integration period, when it feels like there's a lull, it feels like, where'd all the energy go? It was really fast moving. Now it's like, where'd it go? I call those plateaus. is that that's why in the integration in the plateaus that we're kind to ourselves, that we take the time to take those naps, we take the time to take those sea salt baths, that we take the time to even go to a good movie, a funny movie, um, and allow ourselves to integrate that shift and that change that just happened. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with being going underground, going dark is what they call it, even for a day or two. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're in that plateau, because it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to integrate and take that time that you need to do that integration. Yeah, that was a good comment there, Mary. Thank you. Kim is saying, can I just ask about the White Witch card, please? Sure. Does this mean help is needed with our path? I had the same card last night. Well, I think that the White Witch is, it says be the light. As I said, when we first started, I said, it's not saying try to be the light. It says be the light. And so I think that it has everything to do with um, doing what we have to do to clear away the debris that could be shading our light. It doesn't really ever go away. We have it all the time, 24/7, 365, your entire life. It's the God spark. It's our soul. Okay. And so I think that the card is all about letting it shine, doing whatever we have to do to let it shine as brightly as we possibly can. And so that may mean having to go through and do your own healing work. It may even have to do with those belief systems, the assessing of them. Do they still serve you, the ones that you grew up with? Is it any of them dimming your light, covering it up? So I think it really is about, needing some work to polish it up. We already have it. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to learn. It's already here. Yeah, I think it's our responsibility to be able to clear away the debris, the interference. Yeah, yeah. Does that help, Kim? Does that help? Rochelle says, but the growth is well worth it. Yes, it is. On the other side of it, and we've been talking about, facing your greatest fear, remember? And then on the other side of your greatest fear is your greatest desire. Yeah. But with this has to do with, doing whatever you have to do to have your light shine as brightly as possible. And if that means leaving a negative situation, that's what it means. But personally, I think it has a lot more to do with clearing the debris, whatever that is for you. All right. Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Stephanie. She's saying there's a 15-ish second delay. Hang tight, and Neshi can dive a bit deeper into the garden. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's about 15 seconds. So from the time I actually say something and you hear it, there's that 15-second delay. Yeah. So Kim says that makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome. And we're all here to learn and to apply our gifts, right? And even though we've been at this for like 3 or 4 decades, we're still learning. We're still uncovering. I think the further you get down deep in understanding why you're here and what you're here to do, what your mission is, and we're still learning. We may be learning things at a faster and deeper rate, and other times maybe slower and not so much. But we're all in it. and at different speeds and different emotions around it, but we're all here doing the same thing. I think that's, that one meme that says we're just walking each other home. Do you know which one I'm talking about? I think that's why it strikes such a deep chord across social media, because it's the truth that we're all walking each other home. And I find comfort in that. I mean, to have a community like Star Nation's community, where you have a place where there's like-minded people, like-hearted souls, a place that we can come and have a spiritual conversation, ask the questions, make the statements. I think that's we're good at cheering each other on, right? Or saying, if somebody's having a hard time and they ask for assistance and prayers, aren't we ready to send the Reiki and say the prayers and light the chanupa, to help each other, right? So we're walking each other home. Yeah. Rochelle says, I look forward to these non-shows. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you. And I have to thank my spiritual team. They're the ones that put it together. I get the nudges, and I say what they'd like me to say. Try to say it in the way that they say it to me, but yeah, it's good. And I like being with you guys. I look forward to our hour together. In fact, I was supposed to be in a business meeting at 1 o'clock, which would probably go until 3 o'clock. And I told them, that I would have to listen to the recording, because I have a meeting with my community that I won't reschedule today, because I knew when I saw these cards this morning, I knew we'd be talking about our inner light. And this is an important conversation to have. Yeah. So is the other one, the business meeting, but in a different understanding, I guess, is a better way to put that. So let's see, let me check the time. We're at the top of the hour. And so, whatever resonated with you, embrace it. It doesn't even have to be everything we talked about. Even if it was just one aspect, is to embrace it and be aware of how the energy is flowing for you today. Whether you're a direct participant in it, or if you're bearing witness, because either way, it's good. We're learning something. If the information didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It wasn't meant for you. Maybe the reason why you even ran across this video, or you hung in there with us through the entire show, maybe you're the messenger. Maybe you know somebody who has been searching for information like this, or enjoys these kinds of conversations, and you just share the link with them. That's all you have to do. So anyway, it's all good, right? It's all good. Mary is saying, thank you. You're welcome, Mary. And Kim is saying, I had confirmation last night that I was a light worker, which was overwhelming. And I look into earth angels and difference. Couldn't stop reading till 4 a.m. Good for you. Good for you, Kim. Really, to get that validation, right? And feeling good that consciously, that you're on your path consciously, awake, and that you're going to be using your gifts as a light worker, helping other people, right, to be of service. It's good stuff. Hey, namaste to you too, Rochelle. Thank you. So today is Friday, right? December 7th. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the show. So enjoy the rest of your Friday. What's coming up for Star Nations the coming week is we're going to be publishing the December issue of Star Nations magazine, which comes in it comes in digital for your smartphones and your tablets. We also offer it as a print on demand if you're one of those people who like to hold it in your hands, print on demand. But we also have it in PDF and also web viewer, and so we kind of cover the gamut for you guys for that magazine. And so it's publishing on December 10th. Um, so we're right in the tail end of it, and it's kind of like the crunch time for it. And then on Tuesday morning is From Star to Stone with Mervyn Kelly. And I believe we're talking about stones and crystals, continuing that conversation. And after that, and his show is on at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then after his show is Polly Joe LeBay's show, Chakra Sessions, and that's on at noon Eastern time. I don't think she sent me the information yet for what her topic is going to be. We'll get that listed for you though as soon as we can. And then my weekly show on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Communications from Home, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know what we're talking about yet, but I'll let you know. And then Wednesday is Polly Joe's back. Polly Joe LeBay's back with Soul Connections, and that is on at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you're a light worker, an energy worker, and you haven't done your own healing work, every week, Wednesday night, you have the opportunity to do your own healing work with the assistance of Polly Joe and her team. And then after the healing meditation is done, she does a card draw. It's a mini reading. If you want a card drawn for you, just say, yes, please, and we'll get your name on the list. And this past Wednesday, I think she pulled like 35 or 36 cards. So there was a lot of people. It's a really good show. All right. And so that's just a little snippet of what's coming up this week for Star Nations. Okay. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi, the nation that I'm enrolled with, tribal nation. That means until we see each other again. Love you guys.